What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another Batman ranking. And today we are talking about that car from hell that we all lovingly call the Batmobile. We have 7 different versions of live-action Batmobiles that I'm going to be discussing here. And I'm not doing it alone. As the last couple of rankings, I am doing this with Brian Lomax from Brian Lomax Movie Talk. His video will be a link in the video description below. Please go over and check out how he ranks these Batmobiles. And then either tomorrow or Thursday, possibly, we're going to be wrapping all of this up with possibly the biggest ranking of all of these, and that is all of the live-action Batman villains. Brian's going to be going even bigger and badder than I am on that one. So please, if you are a Batman fan, not only subscribe to this channel and like and share this video to support this one, but go over to Brian's channel. He's even more of a Batman fanatic than I am, which is scary, and subscribe to his channel so that you don't miss that big fat-ass villain ranking here in a couple of days. Now, where this ranking is going to differ slightly from the other couple of rankings that I've done here recently is that there's not going to be a whole bunch of different criteria or a whole lot of thinking involved with whether or not I rank these Batmobiles high or low. It's purely face value, whether or not this fucking thing looks cool or not. So with that being said, we'll start off at number 7, the bottom of this list for me. And unfortunately, once again, got to go to the same exact movie, and that is the Batman and Robin George Clooney Batmobile. Now, there's a couple different versions of the Batmobile in this movie, but they all kind of suck equally for me. It's absolutely no secret that they were trying to sell toys with this movie as well as Batman Forever, and you have a very toy action figure-like quality to his Batmobile. It's colorful, it's got this little blue thing that spins around that serves zero purpose whatsoever other than to look cool for 6-year-olds. And different iterations that we get of the vehicles in this movie. You get this random-ass scene in Batman and Robin where all 3 of them have like their own little vehicle. Batman's got this little ice glider Batmobile, and Robin's got a little fan boat, and Batgirl's got the motorcycle. It doesn't matter what vehicle we're talking about. Specifically, the Batmobile and everything else in this movie is just toy-like. It's not cool, it's not intimidating, it's not iconic. It's pretty much like anything else in Batman and Robin. Less talked about, the better. Coming in just barely above that one is Val Kilmer's Batmobile for pretty much all the same exact reasons that I gave for Batman and Robin. There's not a bunch of different iterations of the Batmobile, it's just one mobile in this movie. There's a lot of fins and things sticking out of this Batmobile that's really just there to make it look like an action figure. Just take what I just said, apply it to this one. This one's just a little bit less offensive. Coming in at number 5 is going to be the Batmobile from Batman v Superman and Justice League, Ben Affleck's Batmobile. Now, oddly enough, this one's a little bit low for me, even though this might get the most screen time of any Batmobile in this entire list, because pretty much all the entire third act of Justice League, he's in this Batmobile shooting things. There's a lot of Batmobile action in Batman v Superman, and I don't know what it is. This Batmobile, I like it. It felt like they tried to take what the Tumbler did in the Nolan trilogy, but make it more car-like, so it's very much like a tank car kind of hybrid, and I like the design. I like most of the sequences that are within the movie that we get to see this Batmobile. For some reason, it just doesn't really stand out to me. I don't really know why. It looks fine, it looks cool. I would definitely like take an action figure of this Batmobile, but there's some Batmobiles that are much higher on this list that just feel iconic. They feel like they are a character in the movie, and despite the amount of screen time, I never got that feeling from Ben Affleck's Batmobile. Coming in right above that, which might shock some people, is actually Adam West's Batmobile. Now, I have gone on record 2 or 3 times at this point talking about the Batman that I am not a fan of the Adam West 60s version of Batman. I didn't grow up watching them, tried to watch them as an adult. I just don't get into them. I understand they were special for an era. That era is long gone for me. I cannot get into the goofy Batman. But his Batmobile is actually pretty badass. I like the fact that it is genuinely a car. It's not quite a muscle car. It's not quite like this big badass like attitude car, but it's got some attitude to it. Like, it's almost the most attitude that you're ever going to get from the Adam West era of Batman is that car. And it's just got something iconic about it. There's something cool. It's almost got like a Christine vibe to it. Just that classic 60s car that I really appreciate. So while this Batmobile probably would lose in a battle with every other vehicle on this list, I think it looks fucking cool, so it's number 4 for me. Number 3 is gonna be Michael Keaton's Batmobile, possibly the most iconic Batmobile on this entire list. You know, whether or not it's your favorite or not, I think that that is most people's image of the Batmobile in their head. When they think about it, Batmobile, it's that one. That's the one that they think of, that's the picture they get in their head. It's certainly the Batmobile that I always thought of as a kid, despite the fact that I never really loved the Burton movies. That was always kind of my picture of the Batmobile. It's very car-like, but it has just enough appendages to it to make it look like something meaner, something bigger. And it's just a very sleek, classic design. It hasn't gotten this whole tank build out yet. It hasn't got jet engines and machine guns and everything attached to it that's, you know, visibly apparent. It just looks like a badass car. And like I said, being the most iconic, arguably, of the Batmobiles, I had to have it this high because I still genuinely picture that Batmobile a lot more times than I would have liked to admit. Number 2 is gonna be the Tumbler from the Dark Knight trilogy. Now, this is a really cool design, and this was a design that polarized people when this movie first came out. Obviously, the praise, the iconic nature, the gigantic splash that the Dark Knight trilogy has made since then has made a lot more people gravitate to this Batmobile than there were at first. But when Batman Begins first came out and you started to see little snippets, there was a lot more people that were not big fans of the Tumbler design than those that were. You know, they were like, what is this? This is like a tank? That's just way too much. That's way too much. It's nothing sleek. There's nothing subtle about it whatsoever. And that's 100% right, but that's why I like it.
I gotta get me one of those.
That's why I really like this version of the Batmobile. They don't even call it the Batmobile. It's just this fucking walking death tank. He's literally going on rooftops and shit in Batman Begins. It explodes and turns into the little Batpod bicycle in The Dark Knight. In The Dark Knight Rises, you get 2 or 3 different versions of it with different paint jobs that Bane takes over. It's just a very iconic look now, in retrospect, where the Dark Knight trilogy is this iconic trilogy. So the Tumbler, to me, if I was going to go into battle with any of these, this is the one that I would want. But easily number 1 for me is the new Batmobile in the Pattinson movie. This fucking thing is awesome. This is the one element. If I was going to dig my feet in the sand about any element of this new Batman movie that I will argue with anybody, this is the best that we've ever had. It is the Batmobile. No sequence in any Batman movie ever has given the impact that the introduction of the Batmobile gave in the Batman 2022. When you get that sequence where they're right there and the Penguin's shooting and thinking that everybody's gonna be down, and you got the Batman and he looks and Batman's not there, where did he go? And all of a sudden you hear that engine kick on in the back, and you see this dark alleyway and just the headlights and the glow from the engine, and just the Batmobile is its own character in this movie. And both times that I've seen this movie in the theaters, this entire scene just shook me to my core. The sound, there's the way that this thing fills out the screen and fills out the theater with the sound design is unlike anything else. Now, I'm not a big car guy, but I love some muscle cars. So even if we didn't have such a badass sequence with this Batmobile, with the chase of the Penguin, just the picture of this thing, I was like, holy shit, that might be my favorite. Oh my God, I love that. That's just a badass, mean, stripped down American muscle car with a jet engine on the back of it. And that's perfect. I don't need guns. I don't need cannons and fucking all these devices and everything. This is just a car that he needs once in a while. And this thing is just, it's my favorite Batmobile. I'm still gushing over it. This is the most passionate I've been on the entire video. Can you tell that this is my favorite? This is one of the standout sequences in the movie, and I've never felt that way about any other Batmobile. So if there's ever like a die-cast version of this or a Hot Toys or whatever, I will be getting it because this fucking Batmobile is the shit. It is my number 1. So what do you guys think? How do you rate the Batmobiles? Let me know down below. Give me some reasons about why you have your number 1 as your number 1, because is it a nostalgic thing? Is it a toy that you had that you loved? Is it just specifically something about the car that you love that the others don't have? Let me know your thoughts down below, guys. Thank you for watching. Be sure to like and share this video, and please hit the subscribe button so you don't miss anything coming out in the future with that live action Batman villain ranking, as well as everything else I have coming. I also have a lot of rankings and all the reviews of all the Batman movies as well. I probably put a playlist up here at some point, so a lot of other content on this channel that you will enjoy if you're just finding me for the first time. Be sure to check out Brian Lomax's video and subscribe over there as well. Tell him that Cody sent you over there. Thank you guys for watching as always, and remember, opinions are like assholes, but that doesn't mean that you have to be.